A new supercomputer could help Singapore better predict extreme weather, plan coastal defences, and tailor cancer treatments. Called Aspire to Be, it'll help researchers speed up scientific discovery. Digital Development and Information Minister Josephine launched this at the National Supercomputing Centre.
Models that were previously too large can now be trained in Singapore to meet our specific needs. Simulations that ran as approximations can now run in resolution. Workloads that had to be sent overseas can now use our national research infrastructure.
This new supercomputer will have 4 times the power of its predecessors. It will support more than 1,500 projects across simulation, data analytics, and AI. The supercomputer fills what the National Association calls an unprecedented demand for more compute power and allow researchers to find better solutions faster.
Having access to such large supercomputing power really enables us to process more and more data. This data can be fed into our AI models, which are critical in order to design effective treatments. Then we can deploy those models within the clinical context here in Singapore in order to better treat patients based on their particular needs.
So what exactly is a supercomputer, and why does it matter for Singapore's national sovereignty and global competitiveness? Alxis Thng explains.
To understand what a supercomputer is, think of it like a personal laptop. A PC has 6 to 8 cores, units acting like tiny brains processing data. These can handle over 1 million calculations per second. The supercomputer Aspire 2B has over 180,000 cores and can perform more than 100 quadrillion calculations per second. That's 17 zeros.
Tasks that previously took months to complete can now be done in weeks or days, allowing researchers to iterate faster and also to accelerate time to discovery.
And that's why countries around the world are racing to build their supercomputing capabilities. In the region, Thailand launched the Lanta supercomputer in 2022, focusing on areas such as AI training and data analytics. Further east in Japan, the supercomputer Fugaku was launched in 2021. Last year, researchers using it could cut the prediction time for a tornado from over 11 hours to just 80 minutes. But supercomputers aren't just solving problems faster. They could set the pace of innovation itself.
We at the Cancer Science Institute are able to analyze these data in ways that enable us to tailor precision treatments for Singaporean patients. Because the data are sovereign to us and governed by our laws and inaccessible outside, we can also ensure that our precious resources are safeguarded, as well as the identity of our patients.
In fact, a recent report launched at the World Government Summit highlighted that high-performance computing, or HPC, is emerging as a critical pillar of economic competitiveness. It warns that a compute divide is an existential threat for nations without strong HPC capacity, limiting their ability to compete in key industries. It also notes that reliance on foreign technology providers creates major risks to national security and sovereignty. For Singapore, that's why investing in supercomputing infrastructure is so important, not just to keep up, but exploring and planning for what lies ahead.
To fully unlock the potential of supercomputers, the National Supercomputing Centre is shifting focus to training users rather than simply building infrastructure. Alxis Thng sat down with the chief executive to find out how it's helping researchers raise the speed of innovation.
A future where researchers can make breakthroughs faster and conduct more experiments at the same time. That's the vision of the National Supercomputing Centre. Getting there isn't just about infrastructure, but talent.
If you give a researcher who is not trained in HPC a supercomputer, it's like giving a normal driver an F1 race car and expecting the driver to be able to do well on the racetrack. And that is where the difference comes in. We don't expect a typical driver to be able to perform in an F1 car. They need a lot of training. And sometimes even after training, they might not be able to excel in driving an F1 car. And the same thing happens in the supercomputing realm, where if you ask a domain researcher like a material scientist to be able to use a HPC system effectively, they won't be able to do so without the appropriate training that my team provides to the research community. So by training them in understanding deeper the characteristic of a supercomputer and training them how to use the supercomputer efficiently, more science can be done with the powerful supercomputers that we have.
So what training will NSCC provide to really, turbocharge these researchers' capabilities?
One aspect of the training is really about getting them to understand the technologies behind the supercomputers, how to write programs to better exploit the advanced hardware that they have at their disposal. And that typically requires a lot of computer science related training. And the moment we see that an application is not performing well, we will have the one-to-one engagement with the researcher. And we will walk through the applications with them. We will do a lot of profiling to understand where are the bottlenecks in the applications and give them advice on how to rewrite their algorithms such that it will run better on our supercomputer.
That support is becoming even more critical as supercomputing converges with artificial intelligence. Researchers in Singapore are already exploring how AI agents can autonomously take on parts of the process, from generating ideas to designing experiments and analyzing results.
So the entire research workflow is going to be streamlined and made seamless, powered by very powerful supercomputers. We will have AI research agents that will run around the clock non-stop. They'll be exploring a lot of research ideas. They'll be coming out with a lot more discovery and innovation that we could handle just by having researchers alone. So that paradigm shift where there will be a need for more compute to support large-scale simulation, data analysis, and AI models require a lot of compute power.
A couple of questions for that. So the first is, where is the human in this loop? And the second is, how would humans really manage the workload with the AI agent doing all of it? What would it change for researchers, and maybe in terms of perhaps the output or the expectations for them?
I do foresee a paradigm shift where researchers will move away from doing some of the legworks, reading papers and running experiments, to being the designer of research plan, getting AI agents to support them in doing the various activities. So the AI agents, in a sense, will serve as workers, or AI as a research assistant to support the researchers to do all the things that he wanted to do but may not have all the time in the world to do so. The researchers are still required to be in the loop to steer, to advise, to monitor, and make sure that the AI agents are doing things according to their plans. And they may have to come in and intervene and get the AI agents to redo certain things or to take a different approaches when necessary.
Looking ahead, the next step is already taking shape. NSCC is now working towards integrating quantum computing with its supercomputing infrastructure by the end of the year, to push beyond what either system can achieve alone. So maybe explain to me a little bit, what is the benefit of a quantum supercomputer hybrid compared to, say, a pure quantum computer or a pure supercomputer?
Yeah, supercomputers are very good at processing large amount of data. They're very good at doing physics-based simulations and also for orchestrating research workflow in general. Now, quantum computer, on the other hand, they are very specialized and they excel at solving very complex math problems that supercomputers cannot crack. So, for example, such problems could be optimization problems that are seen in logistics and supply chain, in financial portfolio planning, as well as drug discovery. So by bringing the two technologies together, we are able to enable our researchers to tackle complex problems that they could not even do today. What Singapore can hope to do well is to make sure that we are familiar and knowledgeable about such technologies and how it can play a role in helping us to accelerate every aspect of our research activities. And in the process of doing so, our researchers will be very equipped to handle all these large complex problems that we are facing as a society, and they will then be able to innovate at great pace with the kind of compute power that we have.